white binaries that are two stars which are orbiting each other. I don't really understand it, but it seems to be oftentimes a white dwarf and then a red dwarf or another type of sun, it can be something else, and it circles around them. And they can be far apart as in white binaries. They can be also closer together, even in contact binaries, I think, where they're actually touching each other, or they can be a bit more apart, semi-connected, and then they, for example, maybe sucking in the gases of the one planet, or so on. So, but white binaries, they are further apart. By closer one, they would then suck it in and accumulating an accretion disk around them out of gases, which then, if it has enough pressure and heat, explodes in a nova or dwarf nova a little bit closer. And there can be also magnetic fields, which then sucks parts of a gas cloud in, and it has then outward X-ray force and so on. But white binaries, they are further apart. They are more or less just peacefully going around there. In the Greater Dog constellation, 8.6 light years away from the Earth, there is such a white binary. There is Sirius A, a star which is a bit bigger than the Sun, circling around a white dwarf. The white dwarf has around the mass of the Sun. It's just an old star which has burned everything up, and because it has burned everything up, it has no outward force anymore and has fallen together until the electron shells are standing together in the white dwarf. But it has the same mass, and that way it works like that. There takes 50 years for the Sirius A to circle around Sirius B. Now, I don't know how they're actually orbiting. They have elliptical paths. There's written they are orbiting around their barycenter, and that would be the place where they would orbit or where it would be if they would be joined through a larger stick. I don't understand what it means. So they're not actually orbiting, but they're orbiting the barycenter, whatever it means. Now, in that white binary, it's just two stars. One is going around the other one, or both orbiting each other. I don't really get it. And it would be now possible that there is a planet going around with one dwarf, one red dwarf, for example, that is circling around with a white dwarf. And if there would be a person on that planet circling around with one star, which is circling around another star, depending on how they stand, they could see two sunsets, or two sunrises, or even being between them and having suns on both sides and so on. That is according to Mark A. Garlick's Cosmic Planetary book on the page 64 and 65. Hi and welcome. I am trying to learn Heliology. Today, white binaries, and after we've done it, we're going to do tiptoe yoga. And if you participate in the tiptoe yoga, then it's wieder die Augenmaske. White binaries. Binary stars sometimes come in a bewildering variety of forms. Sometimes individuals are extremely close, so much so that they actually interact. Okay, there can be two stars. And they're completely different ones. Couples, some are like that and some like that. And sometimes they're so close to each other that they are interacting with each other. These are the semi-detached or over-contact binaries, many kinds of which are featured in this chapter. So semi-detached ones are there, and over-contacted stars. And in this chapter some will be mentioned. Usually, though, the individuals are far apart. Perhaps as much as an astronomical unit defined as the Earth's sun distance, or hundreds of times greater. Okay, most of the times the sun is two suns who are in such a binary system are apart as much as the Earth is apart away from the sun, or even hundreds of times more. These white binaries can take decades or even centuries to complete their gravitational balance. Okay, the two stars live separate lives, each orbiting the other, but never venturing too close for perhaps many billions of years. Okay, for billions of years, they don't come to each other. How can they each orbit the other? If you're doing that, would then one orbiting the other? Technically, it had went around. The chances are you have gazed at a binary star system. About 8.6 light years away in the constellation of Canis Major, the Great Dog, Sirius is the sky's brightest star, although it's actually two stars. So in the Great Dog and the Canis Major constellation, 8.6 light years away from the Earth, there is the star Sirius, which are actually two. The largest is Sirius A. It is a little bigger than the Sun, hotter and therefore blue-white in color. Its smaller partner Sirius B is a white dwarf, a stellar corpse with as much mass as our Sun packed into a super-dense sphere, just a bit larger than the Earth. So Sirius A is bigger than the Sun and burning blue, and Sirius B is a white dwarf, a star which had burned up all up and is just very small. Sirius A and B are several astronomical units apart, taking 50.1 years to orbit each other. So they are a few times more apart as the Earth is from the Sun, and they need 50 years to circle each other. More accurately, they orbit not each other, but their Binaries center, the point between them where they would balance if you could join them with a large enough stick. They are not technically orbiting each other, but they're coming to the point where the other one was 50 years ago. So they are they're entering the orbit of the other one, and if that star would be there at that moment and not on the other side, they would do. As they orbit, their elliptical paths bring them alternately closer together and then farther apart. Okay, orbiting elliptical paths, they are sometimes closer together and sometimes further away. Imagine living on a planet of a binary star. The glorious sight of a double sunrise would greet you in the morning and a double sunset would follow out at dusk. But would the planet then orbit both suns at the same time? Gradually, as the stars moved apart, there would come a time when one star rises as the other sinks below the horizon, holding nightfall at bay for several days or even years, depending on the mechanics of the system. Now I'm a bit wondering, is that just a little hypothetical idea which is not thought through, or is that something which is actually possible physically? Because I'm a bit wondering, when the planet would then orbit both stars, would it not be... Yes, it could be possible. But would it not mean that the planet is going out of the orbits of one and the other one? Otherwise it couldn't go around both. But what if they have a third orbit? It could be possible. So one star is in orbit, another star is in orbit, and they are not circling somehow. Maybe they never actually orbit, but they're having another orbit around all these two stars. Why not? If they're so close together that they're dependent on each other, they have certainly another gravitational field around them in which the planet could circle around both of them. And if that planet would now turn, but if that planet is circling around both, then the planet must have a very much bigger orbit as these two stars. And then they would be never left and right. There would never be the one on one side of the planet and on the other side. There would not be they on the different sides of the planet. There would not be one rise while the other one is sinking. They would be at the same place. We will continue with that more later on when we know a bit more. On a world not unlike our Earth, a pair of widely separated stars makes a stunning double sunset. It sounds just like a fantasy idea, not actually calculated through, but it works. At least what we're telling it. Maybe it is possible. We witness a binary star with widely separated blue and red components and a hypothetical terrestrial planet in attendance. The planet is orbiting the closer red star, which itself revolves around the more distant blue star. That is what I mean. So the planet is orbiting just the closer red star, just one of the two stars, which itself revolves around the more distant blue star. Okay. So the planet is revolving around one sun, which is going around, just like the moon is going around the Earth, and the Earth is going around the sun. That was Heliology part. If you were here for Heliology, you can go directly to the next part of Heliology, where we will continue with Heliology. If you stay here and participate in the tiptoe yoga, then it's very on risk. Have feet sitting together. Breathe in, lift the arms up, come up on the tiptoes. Out and down. Come always with weight to the big toes. In and up. Out and down. In and up. Out, open to the side. In and up. Out to the other side. In and up. Out up to the side. Make an inch of space between your feet. In and up. Out and sink down. Stay on tiptoes. In and up. Out to the other side. Heels down. In and up. Out and down. In and up. And out. Lean onto the knees. You can put the heels down. Breathe in. And out. Make a head of the back. In middle. Out the belly. In here. In middle. Out here. In middle. Out the belly. In middle. And out, come up around, back up, make it to the top, of backwards, shoulder roll, heels down. Go on, in the arms up. Onto the toes, out and sink down. This can go onto the knees. In and up. Out and down. In and up. Out, heels down, hands down. Legs a bit apart. One foot points to the outside, the other one in front. The heels are standing on an imaginary line. Arms up, breathe in. And out and bend the front leg into the knee down and come up on the tiptoe. Breathe in and reach in front. Out, lean back. Breathe in and straighten the front leg. Out, sink down. Hands down, heels down. Change the position of the feet. In, arms out. And out, bend the front leg, come up onto tiptoe, the front foot. In, reach in front. Out, lean back. Breathe in and straighten the front leg. Out and down. Hands down, heel down. The legs a bit apart, in the arms up. Breathe out, sink down. Come up onto tiptoes. Breathe in and push something imaginary upwards. Out and down. In and up. Out and down. One more time. In and up. Out. Hands down. Heels down. Have the legs stand together. In the arms up. Onto tiptoes. And breathe out and down. Heels down. Bend the right leg. Stretch the left one. Change. Stretch the right one. And down. Both hands down. And out the feet to the side. Keep the heel down. Breathe in. And out over to one leg. Breathe in. Out over to the other leg. Again in. Out into the middle. And close the feet again. Breathe again in. And out comes slowly with the round back up. Make it to the top of backwards. Shoulder. Breathe with the arms up. Bring your hands to touch the lower and down to heart center. That was tiptoe yoga. I thank you very much. See you next time.